Now that I have knowledge understood, I want to move to the transference of that knowledge. I want to move to finding the clues. And I've been thinking the past couple weeks about my experiences and looking at the four compass points routine. I like to look at the worries. I like to look at my concerns and see how to solve them. And actually, the past couple weeks, my concern was teaching for inclusion, more so about IEPs. And I thought about maybe having a practicum being something like a cert or teaching special needs because that seemed actually the most worrisome for me because I was so concerned about, oh man, do I have the right tools? Do I have what I need? And so I thought about all these moments where I had little successes here and there. So specifically in my digital context class, learning in digital context, we had to do a Padlet and we had to look at one specific need and think about what would those needs be in the classroom, and then what tools could you use to help that. And it was eye-opening for me because I realized, oh man, not only did I figure out a lot of these different needs that might occur, I chose stuttering, but I had so many tools, not only that I could find, but I had already in my back pocket, and I just didn't realize them. And it was good to know that. It was good to know that I have that at the ready at any time. And then I was looking at the IAP assignment in my Teaching for Inclusion class, and I did it with a partner, someone who's, I think, way smarter and a much harder worker than I am. And when we were sitting down, we worked 5 hours straight just looking at this assignment together. And we created this really good IEP for a student who's gifted, combining our interests and their interests. And we were so enamored with what we had created. And just knowing that making it was so, it wasn't easy and it wasn't fun, but it was a combination of just I felt good. I felt good about what I was learning and what I was doing. I was like, I could do this. Like if you gave me the chance, I could do this for every student. If I had the time, I would make an IEP for every student. Because I think every student deserves one. I think every student has their own needs, and it's good to remember those. Even if they aren't ones that are going to be specifically recognized or anything like that. And what really helped me kind of find even more tools, just kind of blew me away at how many things I could find was I'm doing a UOIT summer camp for STEAM and coding and robotics, and we were doing a training for 3 days, and the amount of tools that not only that I got to see and play with, but just have fun with was just imagining what I could do in the classroom. Like for example, there's a Sphero, which is just the ball and the little electronics inside, and you can use an iPad to code. It's like simple coding that you just link together. That has complex coding routines whittled down to the basics so that kids can understand it. And then they made one for a BB-8 from Star Wars, and then they took a band that you can put on your arm, connects Bluetooth wise to the BB-8, and I can use my hands to control it, and it's supposed to be like you're using the Force, and it was so much fun, and just different tools like making a trailer and using Lego to do robotics. Like the amount of enjoyment I had, I'm like, I could use these for all my students and they would love it because it's connecting to them. Because if I can connect it to myself, I can connect it to anyone because there's a throughway for everything. Everything designed proper, like UDL. If it's designed for one person, it can be designed for everybody. If you adapt it properly. And looking over the week's readings about action research and collaboration, and like working with people, especially during that training, collaborating, it was fun to see like how are we going to use this and how could we use this, and talking to people, just being like, wow, these are so cool. Like, where can we find these? Where can we buy these? These are going to cost us so much money. Like, it's just talking about those fun things and kind of having like an action research for myself, just thinking, okay, so I have all these tools. My next step then would be, how am I going to use them? and how would I properly use them. Each thing I want to do is how can I make the best lesson, and then using different strategies, combining them and saying, okay, how do I make it better? Did it work? Why didn't it work? Just having this experimental design using action research like that. And I really enjoyed our reading uh, with Lewis and Takahashi about the Japanese teaching style and self-study. I found that really interesting that they have such a collaborative community, because I already know that the Japanese style, as far as schooling goes, is everyone has to make it together, and much different than our individualized North American ideas. And I found that to be like, why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we working together? Why aren't we sharing? And it reminds me actually of my personal experience right now in the program, where we had a math course, and I'm math focused. I think my number one duty as a teacher is going to be making sure nobody that comes into my class has math anxiety. Like, that's what I want to do. And so having this class and seeing the different faces and seeing frustration, like, I want to make sure that the anxiety in my classroom lowers as much as possible. So we got assignments with questions that are like high school wise, and we didn't really get enough help, because for some people they got math anxiety grade 4, 5, and 6, so math afterwards was like a struggle. So for them to do math that's high school level, it's hard. They need a lot of assistance, but they know it. And so I held these sessions in the lunch in our lunchroom in the building, and helped a lot of people, and it was just so much fun for me just to see different ways of thinking. And I was just sharing all these ideas, and then there's another classmate of mine, Neil, and he didn't need any help, but he liked to talk to me about, like, hey, this is what I do. What did you do? And we like to talk and share ideas and roots of efficiency and stuff like that. And he told somebody else who told me, and they said, and then later on he told me himself, but he said, it's so weird how nobody wants to share their ideas or what they're doing, and that he really enjoys talking to me because I'm fully ready to share all my ideas. I'm fully okay with sharing my thinking, and I'm not worried about people stealing my ideas, because, like, you know, why aren't we collaborating? Why aren't we talking and figuring out different ways? And I took that was a very heartfelt moment for me. And even my teacher at the end of the program, right, wrote a little note for my participation and said, it's a breath of fresh air to not only have somebody in math, but also in the PJ program who's so willing to share and collaborate. And I thought, why isn't it this way? Why aren't we sharing? I had another time where I went to an outdoor education center for my outdoor ed class, and we talked to the people organizing. We're like, this is a lot of fun. Like, do you get repeat customers, like repeat teachers? And they said, yeah. But the issue is that they'll tell those teachers, can you tell your other teachers that they can also sign up and do this kind of outdoor ed stuff? And they said, no, why would I do that? Because if I tell them that, then they might take up the spots next year, and then I might not have my own. And I was like, that's so self-serving and selfish. Like, this is more for the students. Like, it's not about, like, I get it, you want to look good at your job and stuff, but, you know, building that community of collaboration and sharing of ideas, like, that's we're supposed to be helping the students. Like, that's that knowledge, that, like, collaborate, that kind of stuff. I want to come back to that. Like, that's studying myself and making sure that I'm sharing with everybody, and making, like, these are the worries that I have. IEPs, focusing on special needs, and like making sure that I always collaborate and share, and just knowing I've made huge leaps and bounds on those things, and understanding the awareness of the community around me. Like, I'm always going to share. I don't care. Somebody steals my idea, that's fine, but if it betters everybody, I'm going to do it. Every single time I'm going to do it. And so that's kind of like where I'm at. Just trying to focusing on these, like, little steps, always improving and keeping the things I enjoy about myself too. And overall, at this point, getting close to the end, I think combining all of that and journaling it, I think that's what I need to do more of. I always wanted to start a journal, but I always forget. I don't have paper on me when I feel like journaling. That's, I'm sure a whole bunch of different people who want to write say the same thing, but I think writing down my ideas and making sure keeping the things I want to keep and reflecting on it. I think that's how I can move my stuff from that action stage to that overall refinement stage.